to SVGTV's news for Friday, May 16, 2025. I'm Triska Campbell with the details. Hans King, manager of the National Properties Limited, is encouraging Vincentians in the diaspora to invest in land, particularly in Beckway and Mountwin, where parcels are currently available for sale. King, who was part of Invest SVG's outreach team in Washington, D.C., noted that now is an opportune time for nationals to purchase land as prices remain affordable and attractive.
You've been watching your screens, I'm sure, and you've seen some beautiful plots of lands. Most of those lands are vested in National Properties Limited. So our business is selling lands. And we have lands in Beckway, we have lands in Mountwin that are ripe for development. It was mentioned that we've just passed legislation for condos. There are lands at Mountwin that I'm sure that you can come and build beautiful condos right next to where currently we have lands allocated for a Marriott hotel. And I'm sure you've heard the news announced by the owners of Sandals that beaches will soon be built in St. Vincent and the Grenadines as well.
He also highlighted the growing appeal of the tourism sector, stating that increased attention to tourism signals strong investor confidence, making it an ideal time for diaspora members to take advantage of the available offerings through the National Properties Limited.
A number of times Vincentians say and claim that there are not opportunities for them and foreigners are coming in. I'm letting you know that the lands that are vested in National Properties Limited are available for you as Vincentians. In fact, the price that you pay is cheaper than a foreigner will pay, and they also have to pay an alien land holding license. So I'm appealing to you. In Beckway, the Airbnb business is making a killing. In the Grenadines generally, the point is there are lands in Beckway for you to build villas, for you to build homes and have them as Airbnb. The expats are who have the most villas and Airbnb in Beckway. And that can change, and it should change. You as Vincentians in the diaspora should take the opportunity to buy lands there. I am telling you, St. Vincent and the Grenadines is taking off and is going to even go further and further in terms of tourism with all that's happening in our country.
Several institutions, including the Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, have joined the outreach initiative in the United States as part of Invest SVG's broader efforts to engage the diaspora and promote national development through investment. Operation Homegrown, an initiative created by the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to strengthen food security, will provide increased support to farmers and backyard gardeners across the country. This is according to Minister of Agriculture, Subota Caesar, who recently spoke about the initiative on a newly launched television program dedicated to its implementation and progress. Caesar noted that the country's food import bill has steadily increased in recent years, a situation further exacerbated by global trade disputes. In light of these challenges, he emphasized the importance of investing in local food production to reduce dependency on external sources.
We have to take it as far back as the COVID-19 pandemic and the impact that it had on the disruption of supply chains globally. And when I say supply chains globally, I am referring to when you had a global lockdown, when you had boats and ships not being able to move, you had industries being closed. You basically had a disruption in the movement of food. And internationally, we witnessed an increase in the price of food. At that time, it was twinned with the eruptions of the volcano here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We had a major drought and then Hurricane Beryl. So when you bring together all of these impacts and what we are facing now, as a result of the international trade, tariff, war, that whole disruption that is being piled on now with all those other issues which we're addressing, it is definitely there's definitely a need for us to have a concerted effort ensuring, in short, that we have food and nutrition security in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
The minister also revealed that the government has already distributed pots, seeds and seedlings to over 3,000 households, with additional distributions planned in the coming months. The goal, he said, is to encourage every home to grow at least a portion of what they eat.
We want to set up a veritable platform where you can grow a significant percentage of what you want to consume.
Okay.
So from the get-go, we started to distribute pots so that persons can grow their sweet peppers, they can grow their tomatoes, their cucumbers, and we had an agreement with the Zero Hunger Trust Fund.
Yes, of course.
And the Ministry of Agriculture has provided seeds and seedlings for over 3,000 homes thus far throughout the length and breadth of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. With the official launch of Operation Homegrown, we want to take this to every household.
He further emphasized that Operation Homegrown is inclusive, reaching beyond adult farmers and gardeners. Children are also benefiting through their schools' feeding programs, which incorporates produce grown as part of the initiative.
When we speak about Operation Homegrown, it's not just about the adults. It is about integrating the children into growing their own food. And it now takes me to the other limb of Operation Homegrown, because when the students, when they're in school, it is not only a part of the SBA, but we want for the schools to become self-sufficient. The schools have the school feeding program. The question for the teachers, the question for the students, what percentage of that food that you consume at school, what percentage of that can you produce? I know, for example, the North Union Secondary School, it has about 3 acres of land.
Yes.
That school can produce significant quantities, significant volume food, not only for the North Union Secondary School. You have the Newgrounds Primary School, and I'm just speaking about my constituency, but it is throughout the country, and I'm really happy, grateful, appreciative that every week we're having more and more schools signing on to Operation Homegrown.
Operation Homegrown forms part of the government's broader strategy to promote agricultural resilience, food independence, and healthy living for current and future generations. World Bee Day 2025 will be observed on Tuesday, May 20th, under the global theme, Be Inspired by Nature and Nourish Us All. This year's theme underscores the vital role of bees and other pollinators in supporting agricultural systems, global food security, and healthy ecosystems. Agricultural Officer Alan Williams emphasized the significance of the day, particularly in the context of St. Vincent and the Grenadines beekeeping sector.
Every year, the world recognizes May 20th as World Bee Day, where we want to raise public awareness on the importance of bees and other pollinators. And here in St. Vincent and Grenadines is no exception. We want to help raise public awareness of honeybees throughout our country. We know that we have the beekeeping practice as one of our alternative livelihood here in St. Vincent and Grenadines. We have beekeepers, we have wild bees, and we have other important pollinators that are important to pollination and for the sustainable livelihood of agriculture within our country. And we want to remind all of our farmers and beekeepers as well to take note of the importance of honeybees and other pollinators to our agriculture industry. And we know the most important contribution to the environment that bees have to the environment is pollination. So you don't have to be a beekeeper to sustain and make sure that the bees are safe. you can do much activities that will complement the sustainability of the apiculture industry. One of the areas we want to encourage our citizens in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to do is to plant bee-friendly trees where bees can pollinate. Next to me, I'm standing next to a palm tree, and that is one of the trees that bees love to plant. Fruit trees, citrus, palms, cherry, avocado, all of these trees, about 80% of all plant life, bees pollinate on, and they take the nectar from that plant, carry it into the hive, and then they create such a heating system in the hive, and the excess moisture from the nectar becomes concentrated, and that is what we call honey. And honey is actually concentrated nectar. This superfood is what we want to promote. It's very, very healthy for our diet, and we want you to continue to buy local honey.
Williams noted that the local bee population had suffered setbacks following the passage of Hurricane Beryl, which led to a temporary decline in honey production. However, he reported positive developments in recent times.
So we hope that if the weather permits and we continue to practice and promote beekeeping and the sustainability of the beekeeping species, we'll be able to have a better agriculture practices within our region. We know for sure, even though you're a farmer, you might not be a beekeeper, but you need the bees to help pollinate your plants. And pollination in itself helps to increase your crop yield, and you get better quality fruits. All right, so on the 20th of May, the Ministry of Agriculture will be having a special training program targeting young people. We will be having a general introduction to the beekeeping practice, and we're going to give our young people direct hands-on practice of what the beekeeping practice is all about. So we're looking forward for that. We'll be having some interview online and be posting different pictures on social media. And one thing we are looking forward to from the Ministry of Agriculture is to inspire replanting of trees within our country. We know that we suffer a little bit from deforestation due to urban development, new housing settlements, even climate change and pests and diseases. But we wanted to start, one thing you can do is start replanting. And we want to inspire even our rural schools and our schools within the country to start the replanting process and inspire young people to plant. So wherever your home is, you should have at least about 5 or 6 or 7 fruit trees that are important for beekeeping.
To commemorate World Bee Day, the Extension and Advisory Services Agricultural Unit, in collaboration with the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Beekeeping Association, will host an educational workshop with students from the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College. The event will take place at the Dunbarton Agricultural Station. According to Williams, the workshop aims to raise awareness about the environmental importance of beekeeping and to promote it as a viable and sustainable livelihood option for young people.
We are happy to let you know that the Ministry of Agriculture is here to support all beekeepers and all persons who are interested in beekeeping. We will provide this necessary training, necessary information that we can give to you so that you can start this type of production as another alternative sustainable livelihood where we can practice beekeeping. May the 20th, remember, every year, May the 20th is World Bee Day. And right around the world, we're recognizing that bees are important to the environment. So remember, buy local, and you don't have to be a beekeeper to support the beekeeping industry. You can plant your trees, you can practice good agriculture, you can even be a catalyst to promote the sustainable development for our beekeeping industry.
World Bee Day was established by the United Nations to honor the birthday of Anton Jansa, a pioneer of modern beekeeping, and to draw attention to the threats faced by bees due to climate change, habitat loss, and pesticide use. St. Vincent and the Grenadines joins the international community in celebrating the day. Local stakeholders continue to advocate for greater protection of the populations and support the sustainable agricultural initiatives. There is always a risk of contracting infections carried by mosquitoes, and the public is being urged to take the necessary precautions. This warning comes from Reynald Lynch, an officer with the Vector Control Unit, during an appearance on NBC Radio's Face-to-Face program. Lynch emphasized the significance of Mosquito Awareness Week, which aims to educate the public on the health risk associated with mosquito infestations and to promote preventative measures.
As I said, throughout the entire Caribbean, we commemorate the week as a way of sensitizing persons to let them know that there is always that disease risk present in the Caribbean, in the diaspora and a whole, in the country, in particular communities. So the week is really to sensitize and help keep that understanding alive in the country. Because dengue is always endemic to St. Vincent, we've increased the staff substantially to help drive that message out more. So we've employed persons from a lot of the communities so that now that Vector Control has a presence in these communities, whenever we give information, these workers could take that information back to the household, back to the communities, and disseminate it in a much wider way.
Lynch noted that community involvement is crucial in the fight against mosquito-borne diseases, stressing that the Vector Control Unit cannot do it alone.
One of the key things about the Vector Control Unit is that we use our integrated vector management model. Integrated meaning that we integrate various sectors into our vector management plan. And by doing that, we partner with other agencies, non-governmental organizations, groups that could help to spread that message. So the theme itself is in keeping with that. So we can't do it alone. We need the help of everyone out there. And the persons who are empowered, there is a greater chance of reducing the risk of vector-borne illnesses. So I wouldn't say specifically dengue. I would say dengue, chikungunya, Zika, malaria, lymphatic filariasis. These are diseases associated with mosquitoes specifically.
He outlined practical steps homeowners can take to reduce mosquito breeding and encourage residents to be vigilant, especially during the rainy season when mosquito populations tend to increase.
Aedes aegypti mosquito needs water. Water is its main breeding source. So what the homeowner should do, whatever standing water you have around the home, whether you store water during the dry season, however it is that you have water around the house, you should stay vigilant and check these water sources every 7 days. Because you might not be aware that the Aedes aegypti mosquito likes to lay her eggs along the watermark of these containers, and when these eggs become flooded, the eggs now hatch out into larvae, and the life cycle from scientific data presented shows that the mosquito goes through her life cycles much faster. Initially, the data said 14 days, but now it's 7 days. And heat itself is the driving factor. So the warmer it is, the faster the mosquito will go through its life cycle. So the homeowner should always check around the house, check for standing water in drains. If you have a drum, secure your drum as best as you can secure your drum, screen it, cover it. Something as simple as a vase that you might have in your house with flowers. That can become a mosquito breeding habitat as well. The drainer under your dishes. When you do your dishes, mosquitoes anywhere there is standing water, and it would take less than a tablespoon of water to support a mosquito breeding habitat. So any standing water that you have around the house, your drums, your dog bowls, your board bats, anything, your flower pots, your flowers, the bromeliad flowers, anything that can hold standing water for a period of more than 7 days has a potential to be a breeding site for mosquitoes.
Mosquito Awareness Week is part of the Ministry of Health's ongoing public health campaign to combat vector-borne diseases such as dengue fever, Zika, and chikungunya. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Transport and Works Montgomery Daniel has announced that the bypass road at Arnesville is one of 4 major projects to be undertaken with funding from the Caribbean Development Bank, the CDB. The bypass, which is currently in use to help ease traffic congestion into Kingstown, is a temporary measure. Plans for permanent road improvements are developed.
The NRRP program looked and did the assessment for the bridge works, and to have it in under one of the programs under that project. But the overall cost of that road program was relatively high to the funds we have to be working with.
Right.
And this is why the ministry, through the office of the chief engineer, sought to apply for funding through the CDB under this specific program. I am confident that these 4 projects will be approved by the CDB.
However, Daniel expressed ongoing concern about the use of the bypass bridge by heavy trucks. He noted that until the necessary repairs and reinforcements are completed, there are clear safety risks involved.
But they are placed there for our own safety. And to give the opportunity to smaller vehicles to which they can use that bridge as a second road into Kingstown. And it is really helping the traffic on a morning and evening, to which we are all proud of. Because if we continue to use just that one main road on a morning or evening, it's going to be chaos coming into Kingstown and out of Kingstown on a morning and an evening. And so the ministry is continuing to ask for the support of those vehicles that are beyond 2 tons, beyond 2,000 tons. No, I think it's 2 tons, 2 tons. Where
preschoolers from across the country came under the spotlights today as they marched through the streets of Kingstown under the theme, "Keep us safe, strong and free. We are children, let us be." As part of the celebration, and exhibition was held at the Victoria Park, where parents and teachers were provided with information on how to improve the well-being and development of young children. Vanessa Brown, head of the Child Month Expo Committee, told SVGTV News that this year saw increased participation from both schools and corporate partners. She noted that more stakeholders are now involved in raising awareness around various issues affecting children.
This is for exposure, for parents to be aware of the amount of information that they can gather, because sometimes they are not aware of where they can get information, how they can get information. So this is a way of highlighting that there are information that they can access from these various places. Like, for example, Ministry of Health, you can come, you don't know how to create some healthy meals for your children at home, even though we do that in the schools. For national mobilization, you get to understand how to deal with a child who is being abused, and the sexual offences unit. So Games Bookstore, advertising for the upcoming school term, where you are going to get your books and stuff like that. Ministry of we have the National Library, and reading is one of a very important aspect of today's society, where you need to learn to read. So we have that exhibit from there as well.
This marks the second consecutive year that the Child Month March and Expo has been held. Child Day will be observed on May 22nd, and according to the committee, schools nationwide are expected to carry out special activities to commemorate the occasion.
So after today we have Children's Day, and it's a week of children activity, but those activities will be done on a district level. So on the 22nd, it is designated specially for the children. So all schools in St. Vincent and the Grenadines are expected to do an activity to treat the children, so that the children do not spend any money, or they get their hair nice up, or they just have a pool there where they are free, or some activity that will celebrate and make the children feel loved, feel free, safe and strong.
The initiative is a collaborative effort among ministers of education, health, and national mobilization are working together to highlight and support child-focused activities throughout the month. Meanwhile, SVG-TV News spoke with several early childhood education teachers who expressed their appreciation for the awareness sessions being held in schools throughout the month. They emphasized that participation in today's march plays an important role in exposing children to healthy social interactions and community engagement. Each school has developed its own lineup of activities aligned with the overall theme and objectives of Child Month 2025 with the goal of nurturing safe, strong and free environments for every child in SVG.
An expo is an activity that is very important, and the children and teachers would look forward to every year. From my school, I am telling you, my parents are looking forward to that trip to Bequia, because it's like taking the children from one area to another. We are now doing transportation in our school, and this is a perfect example to show them how when we tell them about transportation, how it works, taking us from one place to another place.
I think today is a very great activity for children to meet different friends and socialize. Or coming this Monday, we will be having a switch room where children dress as teachers and teachers dress as children. On Tuesday, we're going to have just like an elderly. So the children will be dressing as an elderly, and we will be visiting an elderly home close to the school.
It's very important to have children engage in different activities. It helps them to socialize not just with their school peers, but to also interact with students from different schools, participate in different activities throughout the month of May for Child's Month. Get them engaged, let them learn about the community, and just have fun times with the children as they grow.
In observance of Mental Health Awareness Month, Counselor at the Mental Health Rehabilitation Center, Roselle Solomon, emphasized that the primary goal of the celebration is to turn awareness into action. Speaking yesterday on Away FM during a segment titled Mental Health and Me, Turned Awareness into Action, Solomon stressed the importance of education in identifying and supporting individuals experiencing mental health challenges.
That different organizations are having activities that want to speak to mental health and mental health awareness. And so as we go through this morning's presentation and the conversation is how do we turn awareness into action on all levels. And we're here on Cop Chat. We know that yesterday I was in Union Island, having that conversation with police officers, and they too have their concerns with mental health and mental health patients and mental illness. So awareness into action is how do we move from where we are now, giving information, the knowledge, the education, to really seeing purposeful change.
Solomon noted that the center is pleased with the increasing public awareness around mental health. She pointed out that more individuals are taking the initiative to learn about mental health issues, leading to a more informed and empathetic society.
From our vantage point, we're happy that people are saying mental health. Before, you would hear crazy. And so we're happy that it's trending, that people are talking about, whether it's loosely or again, whether it's in a purposeful manner. We are happy from our standpoint that individuals are talking about mental health. Organizations are having staff retreats. So again, from our end, yay, let's talk mental health, because that's one of our slogans as well. But we do again want to move from awareness into action. And as we continue speaking, we're going to talk more about how do we do that. What does this month mean, not just to mental health professionals, what it means to families and patients, and now we're on Cop Chat, what it means to the constabulary, and how do we move forward as a nation in moving from awareness to action.
Solomon encouraged individuals to develop self-awareness, noting that understanding one's own mental and emotional state is critical to knowing when to seek help.
Right, so it's not just a me thing in terms of, because Dr. Matthews gave some signs of awareness, that's your symptomology. So you have to know yourself. You have to know exactly who you are and what your balance, what your function is, what you like to do, your interests and how you function, etc. So yes, people lack some awareness, but that's where friends and family come in. That's where co-workers come in. When they see that something is different, you know what I mean? I think we have this notion of I keep it in my corner. I don't want to get in nobody business. I don't want nobody trust me. But because we are so distant from each other, that's where we may be failing each other. So that if you see your brethren going through something, you tap him and say, listen, something's wrong. You know, let's see how we can get some help.
The official theme for Mental Health Awareness Month 2025 is Turn Awareness into Action, which underscores the importance of moving beyond awareness to tangible community support for those facing mental health struggles. In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, May is officially recognized as Mental Health Awareness Month. This national observance aims to raise awareness, combat stigma, and promote access to support and treatment for individuals affected by mental health conditions. Mental health professionals across the country continue to call for increased public engagement, community-based programs, and a more compassionate approach to mental well-being.